Okay, so this is going to be part 2. And we'll go ahead and stop that. So I've got the reference over here if I need it along the way. Probably will. So I'm loading the data. Let's return to where we're at. Let's remind ourselves. So we're drawing 3,597 little ellipses to the screen. They're overlaying each other. I am using the P2D renderer, which is Processing's OpenGL version. Makes it a little faster. So the frame rate's not so bad. So we'll just go ahead and stop that. So what's the next step here? So we've loaded a table and then got a row and got a number from it. But right now we're just getting that from the first row. And we're just getting, in fact, let's change that. We said print total. We said test number. So just a little print out here. So 635,000. Okay, so what we need to do is, instead of just getting the first row, we have to get every row. And I'm going to make a little note here that the total, 3,597. Okay. So what we need to do is create a for loop so we can loop through this and get all that information. We also need to get a new piece of data, so once we get that number, instead of having it equal just a float right here called the test number, we did an array. So let's go up to the very top and say float, square brackets, and we'll just call it the number. Again, this could be any name. I am using camel case, so I start off lowercase, and then when I get to the next word without any spacings, I do a capital letter. And that data itself is, we need to tell it how long is it going to be. So after we know what the total is, we can say the number equals new float. That is the total long. So let's go ahead and run, see if we get any errors. Everything's fine. All right, so now let's get back to writing the for loop. So as we've done before, we will misspell everything. So for integer I equals 0, I is less than the total, and I plus because we're going to count through it. And let's go ahead and grab that little bit and put it in here. Just a little auto formatting. So right now we said get the first one. Really what we're going to do is go through this every single row and get each one of them. So instead of get row 0, we're going to put get row I. So this means grab the first one, the second one, the third one, the fourth one. So once we get the first one, so we'll start off at 0, it's less than total. Okay, so grab the index 0, or the first row. And let's make that first row equal to the number. And we used it actually down here, so let's do this. Let's cut that. And let's paste, but this time we're going to say the number I equals whatever that. Okay, so let's explain this. So I'm going to get the column here, and this is going to be the first one in that list. All right, close that folder. So let's get the first one from it. And then we're going to say within that row, go get the float from on that first row, whatever the number is in the column titled the numbers, and let's make that equal that floating point array, the number itself. Okay, so let's make sure that we get this, and then we don't have this anymore. Right, so it's not doing anything. I could do a little test if I want. I could say print, I guess I shouldn't have deleted that. Say print line, the number, and let's just say 23. Totally arbitrary. $315,000. Okay, so, and let's do another one just so we can see. Let's say 47. Right? Or we could just get rid of that little square bracket. So instead of telling us to give us the number, the 48th number in that list or the 24th number in that list, let's just tell it to print the whole entire list. All right. So you can see that we have all these in here. Eventually the console doesn't want to show us all of them, but you can see there's the 3,596, and because we start counting from 0, we add 1, so that's 3,597. Right? So now we have all the numbers in there that we needed. So this load function is doing everything we want, and we're well, kind of good to go. We'll come back to this one here in a second. Let's see, do I want to do this now? All right, so I went back, maybe I'll do this in a couple parts. So the one issue that we have, the reason I'm hesitating is, so we have the number, and that's great. And we can do some kind of an easy way to deal with this, and we can also do a fancy way. So I think we'll do the easy way and then the fancy way. My idea is that we're going to take these values and we're going to make those correspond to the size of these ellipses. The problem is we don't want to have an ellipse that's 50,000 or 635,000 pixels big on our screen. So at some point we're going to have to cut those down. And there's lots of different ways we could do that. In fact, I'm wondering if I'm going to end this tutorial right here. We'll keep this one short. So right now we have the data and we have this loaded. But the last bit will be cleaning the data a little bit and then taking that data and feeding it into the bubble itself. So I think I'm going to finish this one here, and I'll see you in part 3 in a little bit.